And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Dunkin Park in today's pregame show with Eric Feeney. Jeff Dooley with you. The Yard Goats coming off a big win last night. And Eric, they look to keep momentum going tonight in Game 3 of a 6-game set against the Red Sox affiliate, the Portland Sea Dogs.
The Hartford Yard Goats had a thrilling comeback last night. Let's hope they can keep the momentum going. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well, Eric. How are you?
That felt great. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Of course.
Thank you for letting it. I was going to say thanks for being here, but you're here all the time.
We are here all the time. But appreciate you thinking of the Yard Goats for your wonderful podcast.
Yeah, we're here with Jeff Dooley. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well, thanks.
My name is Eric Feeney, founder and president of Friends of Feeney. Our mission is to help children and families that need assistance after heartbreak or tragedy. I use this podcast, Feeney Talks with Friends, and I talk to wonderful people in the community that are doing great things. And you have been doing wonderful things in this community for the past 26 years, correct?
Yeah, this will be 26 for sure.
26 years. That's amazing. You are the play-by-play announcer for the Hartford Yard Goats.
Yeah, I do all the broadcasts for the Yard Goats on on radio, on MLB television, and streaming online as well. So it's been obviously always something that I wanted to do, and figured what, if I get to see free baseball every night and actually get paid for it, there's no better job. So I'm very fortunate. I've been here. I've worked with now 3 different ownership groups, and I've obviously the fan support and everything that comes with being at Dunkin Park in downtown Hartford is just it's really, really cool.
Yeah, you have a great voice. You have like that inflection in your voice, and it's just amazing. You are the voice of the Yard Goats.
Thank you. Yeah, voice of the Yard Goats.
And I see that everywhere. That's you're like that's your title, voice of the Yard Goats.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It feels great. It feels great. I mean, this has always been a community team, and it all starts with our ownership group, and from our leadership group that works here on a daily basis with Tim Restall, our president, and Mike Abramson, our general manager. Kind of starts with them, and we always kind of emphasize that everyone that comes into the ballpark is doing us a favor. So let's let people unwind for 3 hours and have a good time and enjoy the game. And I'm kind of the benefit of the success of the team. Obviously, people want to watch the games, maybe listen to the team when the team's on the road, follow the Yard Goats that way. So it's been a really fun opportunity to call baseball. Is really my passion. So I'm thrilled to go to work every day.
Yeah, no, if you love your job, it's like you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. My friends, they laugh when I say I'm going to work, because they're like, yeah, but Jeff, you work at a baseball ballpark. And I said, well, it's true, I do, but it's still work. But it is a fun way, and you're absolutely right, Eric. I mean, and when I speak to younger kids, I tell them that, like, if you can find a passion in something you love. I loved sports growing up as a kid, and I just wasn't that good, certainly good enough to play at the pro level. So I felt that the only way to, have that opportunity to do, working at the pro level would be as a broadcaster or something in the front office. So that was the passion that I had, and felt that I think it would be cool to bring the ball game to the folks out at home listening in the radio or on their phones now with all the digital means, the opportunities you get to watch or listen to the Yard Goats each night. So it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, you just it's crazy, Eric, when it gets to the summer, because we play 138 games in like 150 days, so everything is really squished in kind of tightly, but it is a lot of fun.
And of those 150, how many do you call?
Every game.
Yeah,
well, just about 90%. Dan Lovallo, who broadcasts the games with me and has for a while, he'll go on a couple of road trips, and then he'll do all the home games with me in Hartford. So, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a grind. It is a grind, but it's a fun grind, and I love all the players have their unique stories. Obviously, guys that are getting up to the AA level, you can Google them, and they've had 4 or 5 articles, sometimes even more than that, written about them. And then you get to talk to them and kind of tell their stories in your own way about how they got to spend the summer in Hartford before maybe they get a chance to go up to AAA or eventually the big leagues in Colorado. So, and we've had over 50 Yard Goats now reach the major leagues since 2016. So
50,
yeah, 50 plus. And so when you come to a Goats game, whether it's someone in Hartford gear or someone in Portland Sea Dogs gear, Reading Fighting Phillies gear, whatever have you, Somerset Patriots gear, I mean, you're going to see guys that are going to play future in the major leagues.
And also rehab assignments.
Yeah.
I saw Aaron Hicks here a bunch of times. Who's the the highest paid pitcher in the league.
Yeah, Max Scherzer.
I was
Scherzer
here for that.
Was here. Yeah, that was fun.
I lucked out because it was like a cancellation the day before.
Yes, yeah.
And then the next day I got it, and we had great seats. Every pitch, the place was quiet. It was everyone was on his every pitch.
Yeah,
I've never seen the park like that.
I've never seen it either. You're absolutely right. It was the first time that you could look around like while the opposing team was in the field. And there was no one at the concession stands because everyone was in their seats watching their game. And they knew that Scherzer was going to be out there, 4, maybe 5 innings. So let's try to take every pitch in. And, to see a guy that's won the Cy Young and one of the best players in baseball, at our ballpark was great. He couldn't have been nicer. He came out, we were getting the media availability ready, and I thought it was really cool. I went in the clubhouse to get him, and he came to the door and he said, "Oh, you know what? Let me get my Rumble Ponies cap," knowing that it was going to give his minor league club a lot of, some
exposure.
Exposure, absolutely. Knowing the New York newspapers and a lot of New York media was there that day, and I said, "Wow!" I told the Binghamton folks, I said, "This is what Max did for you guys." He said, "Hold on, let me go get my hat." So I thought that was great. He signed autographs. He did really whatever we wanted, and ultimately he was just here to as a rehab to try to get back to where he needs to be in New York, but I can't say enough about him.
So did you do like an interview with him like this?
I brought him out for the press to talk to.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So and he was tremendous, and he was, like I said, he signed autographs. He was great with fans. So we love it, and I think word travels because, as you know, and you just said, Eric, we've had a lot of with Hicks and we've had so many Yankees coming, Red Sox coming. I think the word has it. Like, listen, Hartford is easy. If you're especially a Red Sox or the Yankees affiliate, you get off the highway, we're going to get you right in, we're going to get you out. If you want to hang out and mingle with fans, you have the opportunity to, but if it's a tight crunch and you got to get out, we can get you right to the highway and you're out of there quickly. So I think word has passed because we do get a lot of rehabs when we play the Red Sox and Yankees affiliates.
I noticed that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
It is.
Now, growing up, what inspired you to take on this role? Did you have a role model? Was there an announcer that you really listened to and liked, or?
I just liked baseball, I think, in general. I liked all the sports, but I think with in basketball too. I do basketball at the University of Hartford and have for 20 years now. Johnny Most was the legendary Celtics broadcaster, and everyone in New England would kind of turn their televisions down and put on the radio call. And I remember listening to Johnny, with the Larry Bird and the Celtics teams, and so certainly he was up there, and Joe Castiglione with the Red Sox. I think once I started realizing that I wanted to do this for a career, started listening to him more, and I had an opportunity. I went to a small college, St. Joseph's College in Windham, Maine, on Sebago Lake, just outside of Portland, and knew as a freshman I could go in there and actually broadcast right away. Today, I tell the young kids, I said, you guys have it made because everyone can be their own media person. I mean, anyone can put something on their phone and get it out there to folks. And back in the day, as I like to say, you had to actually go to a place that had a radio station. So it was great, campus radio, and that was then as a freshman that I realized that, wow, I love this even more than I thought I would. I said, this is cool. So we did the basketball games, the men's and women's games. We did the baseball games and the softball games, and I had a sports show as well, where we would bring in athletes and some even major league guys and interview them, and it was really cool. I loved always getting that kind of peek behind the curtain and see how things were, and I think meeting these guys and then getting to work with them, when I got a job into this professionally after was kind of the icing on the cake for sure.
So cool. So we have sponsors I'd like to shout out. I want to thank Steph and Dave from Direct Line Media. None of this would be possible without them. I can't thank them enough. 100th episode coming up. Live podcast, February 12th at Playhouse on Park. So if you're around, we'd love to have you stop by. February 12th. Anyone, please join us. We're going to have food by Doro, drinks by Maximum Beverage, and Weehaw Roasting and Brewing. Special guests. So please join us. And again, sponsors. Direct Line Media said that. Golf Law Group. The Fix IV. Donut Crazy. Luna Pizza. You ever have Luna Pizza?
I have. It's delicious.
Keating Agency. Parkville Market. I know you've been to Parkville Market.
Parkville, yes.
Parkville Management is on a podcast sponsor. Carlos was on. He's an amazing person. And And now West Hartford Lock. Oh yeah, they sponsor.
They
And
do.
I'm going to steal this. Oh, this is where I got this. Oh,
They're
so
a Yard Goat sponsor, yes.
what's their sponsorship? What do they put up on the board?
Keys to the game. How about that? We could have opened with keys to the game.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you your 3 keys. I do this now. What are your 3 keys that makes you a great broadcaster? What are 3 keys?
Thank you for saying. I'm not sure I'm a great broadcaster, but yeah, we try to inform and entertain. I think is right off the bat. You
Yep.
know, I think everyone's got their little niche and what they like to do to get across to people. But you want to, I think, be number one entertaining, but it's also very important to be, informational and get that story across and make sure you're piping out the right information. And then the other thing, I guess, for the third we'd throw in is the preparation, because nothing starts with preparation. I mean, it all starts with preparation. You can't do much without the prep work. So those really are the 3. But we'd like to go on there and have a good time. And, working with Dan Lovallo is just so easy. We've been together now for 20 years doing broadcasts and baseball, and he knows everything. He's just one of those guys that he reads like 8 newspapers a day. So sometimes when I'm just listening to him, I can get caught up on my sporting news as well. So it's great, and having the opportunity to know the coaches as we do and the players, and a lot of times the coaches will change year to year. But you get to know the stories of the players, and we kind of feed off each other, because it's almost like when you work together with somebody for so long, you almost like finish their own sentences, so to speak, in the broadcasting world.
So that was the 3 keys brought to you by West Hartford Lock. I know I took that because Eric Brown's a good friend. He's in West Hartford, amazing person. Yuri, his partner, they are fantastic and they sponsor. And I noticed that and I was like, I'm going to take that. So I don't know if you guys got that copyrighted, the 3 keys to the game.
Good. I think you're good.
And then you mentioned Dan. So our motto's be a good friend.
Okay.
Pick up trash that's not yours, hold the door, give a compliment, be charitable. What makes Dan a good friend?
He's the best. He just, it's more than just going in and going to work. And, I know people in the professional broadcasting industry where it's not like that, they do the job together because, that's what they want to do. But, we talk a couple of times a week in the off season. He actually broadcasts University of Hartford games with me. He has the last couple of years. So we're very tight. I've learned a ton from Dan. He's a great broadcaster, but he's a great friend. And he's just one of those guys who'll give their shirt off his back. And, he's the best. So I can't imagine doing games on anyone else but Dan. He's tremendous. He really is.
Great compliment. And Dan, you mentioned preparation. And me bobbling over my sponsorships, I should have been maybe more prepared. I should have been more like Dan. Dan, you inspired me. All right, another game. Your called games. So throughout your years, it's called first, last, best, worst. Your first game that you called, your last game that you called, the best game that you called, and the worst game that you called. You may answer in any order. It's a storytelling game. So what do you got?
So I had the opportunity this past season to go to the major leagues to fill in for the Rockies. So that was obviously, there are so many great broadcasters, really. I'm not just saying that in the minor leagues that just never get that opportunity. So, it's one of those when the phone rings and they're like, hey, we want you. It's, you pinch yourself and is this really happening? Especially after 25 years in the minor leagues. So having a chance to fill in for Jack and work with Jerry Schemmel, who does the Rockies games, was, obviously a dream come true. Rockies were in Philadelphia, so had a chance to go down there and do a couple of games for the weekend, and also get to see some former Yard Goats who are now stars in Colorado, and they heard the story that I was coming up and everything. So it was a really cool. So that will be tough to top, obviously, for the best moment. But we've had so many. I think back, if you want to just specify Yard Goats, the first game here ever where I had the opportunity to be the on-field master of ceremonies before the game with the governor and the mayor and Josh Solomon, who's our owner, was here, and Tim Restall, our president.
To talk about that, do you that was awesome. Like, after 25 years you got called up. I thought that was amazing. I saw your story. Do you remember the scores of those games?
Oh, that's a good they were not good scores for Rocky fans. I can tell you that.
I was going to say.
Yeah, the first game was it was tight. The second game they faced Zach Wheeler and it got away. They ended up losing pretty badly on the Sunday. But the Saturday game was tight.
Do you remember the times?
They were afternoon games. So it was interesting because that's one of the takeaways. In minor league baseball, you play so many doubleheaders, and when you play a doubleheader, like that next day they'll move the game like an hour up. And most people don't get the message, or they show up late because they know they're seeing 14 innings. So it's not the worst thing in the world. You don't need to be there at 5:30 because you're going to see 14 innings of baseball, right? So even if you see only 10 innings of baseball, you're still getting an extra inning, right? But so I'm thinking, all right. So there was some weather issues in Philadelphia, so the game was originally supposed to be at 4. They moved it up till 3. With less than 24-hour notice. So I said, it'll be a late arriving crowd. No, there were 42,000 fans there at 3 o'clock. And so it's just a different level. And I know that's Philly, and it's a team that, there are a lot of hopes for the Phillies this year and the fanatic fans and all that stuff.
They made it pretty far, right?
They did, yeah. So they had a good year,
so
and they've got a good team.
So 4-3.
Okay.
On the 22nd.
All right. I knew that was
9-3. So
9-3. All right. So yeah.
And home runs hit? Do you remember any home runs?
So I remember, Castellanos hit a home run. I remember. Yeah, he actually hit 2. I called.
How'd you call that? Now, if it's the opponent, you're like, Nick Castellanos hit a home run.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's funny. And Roger Clemens' son hit his first home run as a Philly in one of the games as well.
Yeah.
I actually sent the clip to Clemens. He was one of my idols growing up, so I saw his email address somewhere. So I shot it out to him, and I said, hey, Roger, loved you growing up, and I had the opportunity to, your son hit a home run. Here's the call. But by the way, it was for a Rockies broadcast in Denver, so that's why I'm not over the top. Because you're right, you don't want Rocky fans are probably upset that the ball.
I never realized that. That's Cody Clemens.
Yeah,
and he names all his kids with K.
With K's for strikeouts.
I did not put that together. That's
Yeah,
Cody.
so
that was his first home run.
That
Ever?
was his first home run, because he came up with Detroit. So
Gotcha.
he's got a few with the Tigers, but that was his first home run as a Philly. So
and I recognize Trey Turner's name.
Yep.
Trey. But Bryson Scott I don't recognize, and Brandon Marsh.
Yes, yep. They hit home runs. So I hit
a lot of home runs for the opponents.
A lot of home runs, yeah, and I called Stott's home run too. So yeah, he played in our league a couple of years ago in Reading. So he's one of the young stars in baseball, up and coming for sure. He's got a really cool walk-up song. I know they go crazy. The fans singing. I don't know what it's called, but as he comes up to the plate, the fans go crazy with him.
That's Bryson Scott?
Bryson Stott, yeah.
Stott.
Yeah.
We circled. I got to look into that. That's cool.
Yeah, so check out that walk-up song. But yeah, it was a great experience. So
it's like a player that really, or analogies, I don't know. You work so hard and you paid your dues, you persevere, and then you got called up. That was like you got called to the bigs.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was obviously a dream come true, and when you're there, you're just like, wow, this is everything. It was really cool. I mean, everyone in minor league baseball does a million different things, and it was really fun too. They told me when I got there, when I got to the booth, they're like, all you have to worry about is what you say. You don't have to worry. I'm like, really? I don't have to worry about making sure the media's got their dinner tonight or making sure the game notes are done. And so I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And Jerry Schemmel was just great. He said, Jeff, don't even worry about the pregame show. We'll do a quick little hit right before and I'll introduce you, and we'll just do a quick little sponsor-related item with the starting pitcher, and then we'll get into the game. And, quite honestly, I think once the game started, we got into a nice back and forth, and then he turned things over to me in the second inning, and once I got, because I've done, thousands of games, it was just kind of not with 42,000 people on 40 different radio stations all over, the Midwest.
So just like riding a bike.
Yeah, exactly.
But just don't think.
Just don't think, just don't think. And I'm thinking, just try not to screw this up,
So overall, you're happy with your performance?
I was. Yeah, I was happy, and it was just
good feedback from friends and family.
Yeah, and and from some of the Rockies people too, which it was. I think your friends and family were going to say you were good, right? But hearing from some of those guys that listen.
Would you do it again if called?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you hope you get called again?
I do hope, yes. And now that they have my number, I hope they don't delete it.
Well, that's an amazing story.
But Eric, it's funny though, because
never
you
give up. Yeah.
But you mentioned good and bad, and I know you talked about Aaron Hicks too, who's an old friend of mine. I had him back with his days when we were the Rockcats, and I remember we were talking on the bus ride going over one day, and he was down about something. I said, "Listen," I said, "as a broadcaster," I said, we're kind of like a performer like a player." I said, "I have good games and I have bad. There are some games where like you just don't have it, or listen. Everyone's gonna blow a call, right?
Yeah.
But like sometimes it's just not." And he's like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's just like So he has a game and he hits a couple of home runs. He gets on the bus. He looks at me. He goes, "Jeff, how was it? Was it a good one or a bad one?" And I had to think for a second. I said, "It was okay today. I didn't screw anything up. I didn't screw up your home run call, Aaron." But he's a tremendous kid, and it's.
Now, do you phonetically spell out names just so you don't mess them up?
I do.
Yeah, in practice.
Yeah, so I'll write everything. Most of the teams.
That's one very important thing as a teacher too. Names are very important.
They are.
And there's so many different names and spellings and how to say it, and you just want to be respectful of everyone's name.
We try to ask the player too when they get here, because everyone's got their pronunciation keys on their rosters, but sometimes early on, if you haven't talked to the guy yet, you might use something that you saw from college, but who knows how that was put together or how something got translated. So one of the things that sometimes is frustrating, and it happens a lot, is we'll see a guy come through our league and we're calling him one thing, and the next thing he gets up to the big leagues and like it's something different. And that's one thing that does get under my skin. I'm like, why don't you say something when you were here, or when you were with another club? But we do our best. But I've had players too tell me about the pronunciation. They're like, "Well, it doesn't matter what you call me." I'm like, "No, what do you mean it doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Is it a piece or is it a piece? Like, what do it's you." "Well, I don't care as long as you're saying good things about me. Call me whatever you want." I said, "No, I want to call you what your name is. We'll try our best to do that."
Great. So you got the first, best, last, and worst.
Ooh, the last broadcast I did was in the last game last year up in Portland, Maine.
You were away on the road. That's right.
We're on
for the last game.
So we finished. Yep. So it's
I've never been there. They have a monster. Do they have a green
monster?
monster?
They do. Yeah, it's a fun place to watch.
You could see that off the highway too, right? In Portland.
Yep. Yeah, 295 goes right by it. And I remember back in the day when they first got the team, like Charles Johnson, who was the big catcher, came out of the University of Miami and went on to do great things in the big leagues with the Marlins, because they were a Marlins affiliate back then. He would shoot balls, they said, like on just absolutely mammoth shots.
Missiles right off the bat.
Yeah, but that was before the wall. Now they've got that big 37, same dimensions as the Green Monster at Fenway. 37
Did they put
feet
the score
high.
on it and everything?
They've got the scoreboard on there.
Can they sit on it now like a new one? No?
Well, they have pavilion seats, but they're actually in right field. There's no seats.
Gotcha.
It's basically green plywood, so
it
wouldn't be safe to put anything on top
Fun
of that.
fact, Portland has a Bull Feeney's.
Is
right
that
there
right?
On the main little downtown area. Bull Feeney's little segue. You're not going to throw the Feeney name in there. No relation.
No
I wish.
Feeney, okay.
I've been in there many times. Like, "Hey, I'm Eric Feeney." They're like, "What are you going to order?" Pay up. No discounts, no deals.
Oh, man.
So Portland was your last game, and then the worst, I don't know, or least favorite. Maybe not worst, but least favorite, or maybe you don't have them. Maybe they're all great.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a tough one actually up in Portland where we gave up 23 runs. It wasn't the last game, but it was like the second or third to last. But there are games where you just you finish and it's
because that affects your call, right? If it's a 20-2 game, you're like,
yeah, you try to be. I've had people tell me, like dedicated fans. Now I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I've had fans tell me, like, when they tune in, they know within like 45 seconds if the Yard Goats are winning or losing.
Oh, based in your voice?
Yeah, and I was like, really? And they're like, now this is people that listen like all the time.
So they hear the grin.
Yeah, I guess, right? So I'm like, geez, that wouldn't be good if I was a national guy, right? Because you got to be like that. But I think as a hometown broadcaster, I think you can be like, listen, I want our team to win.
Do you say us and we?
I don't. No, I try not to. No, I'm not someone that could put
not
the uniform on.
Tommy
Yeah,
Heinsohn?
Exactly. No.
Good
But
old
I'll
Tommy.
say we and us if we're talking, but like never during a broadcast. That's
Okay.
always.
Like, come on, you're killing us.
And I try to stay away from the invert. Now it's interesting because especially at home now we've got all the games are on the platform MLB television. So like if you have like MLB Network, well not MLB like the package for the major league games, they throw in like all the minor league games.
Oh,
so
nice.
last year was all the AA and AAA. So with that package you could watch every Yard Goats game. So Dan and I call those games at home, and with the video replay here, like they do a really, really good job of like, setting up. It's almost like a big league, like in terms of, the production and all that stuff. And
so the game that comes on the TV, they'll hear you.
So they hear
it?
our call. Yeah,
Nice.
for home games they will. Yeah, they'll hear our calls. So, but obviously, if it's something where we try to be honest, and if the umpire, made the wrong call, we've got to see it. But there's a couple of times where they're right, and maybe our guys are arguing it's wrong, and we just, if the video's right in front of you, it's tough to, well, you know what? You got that one right, or you got that one wrong. I mean, it happens. Everyone's human,
Can't win them all.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that's great. No, it's exciting. And I'm really thankful to the Yard Goats. We've had 3 fundraisers here with Friends of Feeney. Our first one was in August 2001. We did Irish Night, one of my favorite nights here.
Love it.
2022, we had Friends of Nicholas Parenti. He was a 7-year-old. He had an inoperable brain tumor. He rested all week to come to this game. He was around 200 family and friends. And then, it was almost like a celebration with his, again, family and friends, 200 of them. And then he passed 2 weeks later. So
So sad.
I think about that. He was like, he saved all his energy to come to that game. The Parentis are wonderful people. His parents are both teachers. And then the following year, 2023, we did a Friends of Nicholas in memory of Nicholas. And Rob, his dad, threw out the first pitch.
Wow.
And had a in memory of Nicholas bracelet. And he's like nervous about the throw. And I could see it in his face.
Right.
And then Connor goes over and talks with him. And I'm watching this whole thing because I'm on the sidelines. And Connor must have said something. And Rob's like telling him why he's throwing out this pitch. And all of a sudden, Rob just and hugs Connor. And it was just like, and then and my buddy Matt has a picture of it. It gives me chills. And just for, like, he was doing that in honor of his son.
Right.
Who he just lost last year. And Rob's a great person. And, we raise money for them. And now Rob, in return, is on a board of directors for Friends of Feeney now. He's a grief counselor, so he can empathize with people and talk and help. So if you're interested, Rob Parenti is a grief counselor. And if he knows what you're going through, if you need to talk or some assistance, just a good friend. And it stinks that, Friends of Feeney is great. We do fundraisers, but we help children and families that have heartbreak or tragedy. And they happen more often than you think, and just trying to make sure that everyone can, have the equal playing field. I don't know. Yeah. No pun intended.
No, it's great, Eric, that you guys do that. I mean, for people, because I can only imagine, when something like that happens, like there's people, you must feel just hopeless, right? And there's nothing you can do. So to know that you guys are there and doing that stuff, and for us to be able to be a small part of it. I mean, we always say we're in the business of putting smiles on people's faces. And, like I told you before, we tell our ushers and the folks that come through that every person that comes through that gate is doing us a favor. And there's a lot of real life issues going on right now. And if someone has that just 3-hour window where they can escape from life, whether it's a family issue, whether it's a job issue, where they can just come and enjoy the ball game for a couple of hours, that's what we try to provide. So I'm so happy that, you guys could use us to do something here for sure.
And then thanks again, you let us get on the field for our group photo. It's our Facebook banner right now. It's just an amazing picture of our team. One time, American Eagle, the board of directors held the flag. You let us do the 50-50 raffle. We were the beneficiary of the 50-50. On record, humble brag, we raised the most money.
Wow, did you?
Yep. And they also allowed us to go around with the card reader. So they taught us how to do the card reader. So we were able to give the mission and give the card reader. I think we raised over $3,000, close to $4,000.
Wow. Good for you guys.
So yeah, your partnership means a lot. You're really great in the community. Like you say, you put smiles on people's faces and you help nonprofits, and that means the world. So you're a good friend. Friends of the Yard Goats. We printed out shirts. Our thing is be a good friend. We put be a goat friend.
I love it. That's great.
Greatest of all time. Goat. Be the goat. Oh, and then going around collecting money. And I'm like, hey, you guys, you want to do a donation? We're the nonprofit. You can give a card. And the mom hits not hits, but taps her son and goes, "That's Friends of Feeney. They helped us when Daddy passed."
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
wow. You don't even realize it. Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't call me out." This was in the concession stand right over here.
Oh, okay.
They were like in line to get popcorn or
Right.
pretzels. And I'm just going around doing my thing, trying to raise money. And here I am interacting with someone that I didn't.
That you helped and you
that I
didn't
helped.
realize it. Yeah.
And the kid was just like, "Thanks." And I was like, I left and I was like, I should have said this. I could have said that.
no.
Why didn't I get down on my knee and
Right,
talk
right.
to the kid, give words of inspiration? But I'm thinking of that family ever since. I could recognize them. I even forgot their name because it was like
Right.
so
Just
crazy.
well, they got you unexpectedly, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of memories here. Good place. And we look forward to partnering again for a fundraiser. We're trying to get into the seats with the food. Come on.
Oh,
what do we got to do to
that's
get in the seats
huge.
with the food?
Well, you got to know some good people for that one, right? Some high ups. The broadcaster could do nothing for that.
No, but thank you again.
Of course.
You want to do songs from 1996, or do you want to do your all-time or home run calls? How's your songs? Don't worry about the song thing. We've been striking out.
Okay.
94 was with Eric Bergen Financial. Check it out.
Okay.
He didn't know any songs in 94.
Okay.
He was like 6 in 94. Episode 95, Sarah Latiano from Float 41. We talked earlier about trying a float. Amazing. Put your body in the most natural
yeah.
position. 10,000 pounds of salt. Tom Brady does them. Joe Rogan does them. Seth Curry does them.
Wow.
So try them. Float. She struck out on the songs.
Okay.
What do you got for songs? 95. Can you name some songs in 96? Or if I name a band, can you name the song?
Yeah, we can try it. I'll give it a shot. I'm not great music, but
This was interesting. How about we just the Macarena,
oh,
1996.
was that 96?
Can you do the Macarena?
No, but I've seen people do it.
Let's see, Sheryl Crow. All right, we're gonna just pass on the
Sheryl Crow, yeah.
Sheryl Crow. You know
Yep.
Sheryl Crow?
Yeah.
All right. So we got En Vogue,
Yep.
Sublime, REM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did spin little tunes on the college radio station
Oh,
in
that's right.
94, 95. Yeah. That was the deal. They said that I could do a sports show, but I had to do an on-air shift too to play music. I said, all right.
Oh,
deal.
you had to like trade?
I had to do a little
compromise?
bit. Yeah, exactly. They're like, all right, you need to take a shift here. I said, okay. Give me a half-hour shift. I'll try not to screw it up.
All right, great. All right. Oh boy, Fluster City. So we did your role model. Favorite? Oh, do you have a favorite play call of all time?
I think I think that first pitch in Hartford I thought was something that was special because just so many people worked so hard behind the scenes to make this happen. I mean, this obviously the story behind it. This was not an easy task to get this thing up and rolling, and we had baseball in Hartford back like in the 20s and 30s, and Lou Gehrig played here. I mean, there's pretty amazing history, and then obviously it went away for 50 years, and then to come back with the Yard Goats on the 20th anniversary, and this is amazing to me that the Whalers left town. 20 years to the day the Yard Goats open up.
Serious?
That's unbelievable. So people were like calling you like, oh, the Yard Goats, you guys are like marketing geniuses. And we're like, let me tell you, I wish I could take credit for it, or the Yard Goats could take credit, but Major League Baseball does the schedule. But it is kind of a cool thing how that would to
20
the day.
years to the day.
Yeah, it's
I did
pretty-
not know that.
Yeah, it's
That's an
pretty
amazing fact.
Really cool.
And you pay homage with the colors, right?
We do, yeah. So the Kelly green and the, and the royal blue, and the goat butting the bat, and there's a bunch of uniforms we've kind of played off that too. So I think that very first pitch in Hartford was a cool one. There was a just because of the story, but there was one. We haven't had a playoff series yet here in Hartford, so I'm hoping we do, and and that could be my new favorite, at the minor league level, but. There was a story in that we didn't realize at the time, but so back in it was 2001, it was Rockcats playing the Norwich Navigators at the time. They were the Yankees affiliate, and Michael Cuddyer had a nice career in the major leagues with the Twins, and then the Mets. He came up against Domingo John, who earlier in his career pitched for the Yankees. and he faced Domingo Jean, and he hit a 3-2 pitch over the fence for a walk-off home run to win the game. Didn't win the series, but it put Hartford up, New Britain up at the time. If they had lost that series, they would have lost. So what happened was, this was September of 2001, and it was actually just a few days before the tragic events of September 11th. One of our pitchers, Brad Thomas, would have been on that flight had we lost that game. So Brad Thomas goes to the big leagues, and we knew it was a huge home run at the time, but we didn't know the story. And Brad gets to the big leagues, and they start talking about Michael Kadire, and he said, Michael Kadire saved my life. He said, if Michael doesn't hit that home run, I'm on a flight from Boston to L.A., the one that ended up in the World Trade Center, because then he was scheduled to go from there to Australia. He was actually from Australia. So that was oh my God, So, and I remember that call, I can still see the ball going over the fence. So that, in the minor leagues, that was bigger. And obviously, because of the magnitude of the situation, where it basically saved somebody's life, that's certainly up there for me.
Wow.
But yeah, kind of a cool little backstory with Thomas and Kadire. But hopefully there'll be a championship in Hartford, or
Let's
some
go. I
playoff
know.
game soon, and we can add that to the list.
I would love that. That'd be great. How about professional, the Kirk Gibson call, or you mentioned 2000 September 11th. I think the Luis Gonzalez. I'm a Yankees fan.
Yep.
I still remember the call, and it
Yeah,
hurts me.
that was huge. And
Jeter's last hit.
Yep, right.
There's so many.
There's so many. But the Gibson, with Vince Scully, the Gibson, that's tremendous.
I was at my buddy Jeff's house. Joe Carter hit one off of
Yep.
Mitch Williams, 92.
Yeah, Sean McDonough had that one. That was a tremendous call, to end the game. He said, Joe Carter, you'll never hit a bigger home run. It was awesome. Yeah. So, there's...
Touch 'em all? Who said that? You know that one? Touch 'em all?
Yeah, Touch 'em all was actually John Gordon for the Twins did Touch 'em all. He was with the Yankees first, and then I got to know John really, really well when we were affiliated with the Twins for a while.
Because the Rockets.
Right, exactly.
Going down that list, you had Johan Santana, David Ortiz.
Yeah, so Santana was a Rule 5 guy, so he actually never came through. I think he was there probably for the exhibition game. There were a couple of exhibition games, but Ortiz, my first year in New Britain was 98. Ortiz came as a minor league player in 97. So I missed him as a minor league player, but he did come back in 2001 on a major league rehab assignment. I remember he came on a road trip with us. He was with us for about a week, and it was before he was known as Big Papi, the greatest home run hitter in Red Sox history, right, or clutch hitter in Red Sox history. At the time, though, he was still a very good player for the Minnesota Twins. He was one of the top home run hitters in the American League. So he was cool to be around and just to kind of see how he interacted with the minor league players. But then seeing what he did when he got to Boston was just, obviously took the game to the next level.
Now, growing up, who'd you root for?
I'm from Rhode Island, so I rooted for the Red Sox. Yeah, we were close to, I'd go to handful of games, 10, 12 games every year. So we're a lot closer to Boston.
And they have Pawtucket, don't they?
Yeah, that's where I got my start. Yeah, they the Pawtucket Red Sox. Yeah, I used to work in the concessions making pizza. And I would always make a little extra pizza at the end of the night so I could bring it to the media people and ask them how they do their jobs. And I was like, you know what, this is maybe someone will give me some advice. And that's, another fix where I realized that, wow, this is really what I want to do. Yeah, I would love to do this for a living, be a broadcaster someday. So, yeah, they have since moved. They actually relocated a few years back. They're in Worcester now.
That's right.
Worcester Red Sox. So.
That's smart. You butter them up with pizza.
Right?
Give them some info.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Jeff with the pizza. Let's go.
I heard Worcester. Are they getting a green monster as well? I think they're getting a green monster.
They don't have one now. They've got some pretty cool features though at Polar Park, but they don't have the monster like they do in Portland. I think 2 of the 3 have it. I think that Greenville, I think, has the monster too, and there's obviously the monster up in Portland. So it's kind of a cool setting for the Red Sox affiliates.
All right, let's do. What about Clear the Deck? Cannonball coming? No, that's a tough one. Back, gone.
Oh,
you know that
Chris
one?
Berman, yeah, of course.
Forget It. I didn't know that one either, but Forget It. I guess that's Vince Scully. Get Up, Get Out of Here, Gone For. That's Bob Uecker.
Oh, that's Uecker, yeah. Look at you pulled out
I
the
got
calls.
got some notes. I thought, I've got to. It could be, it might be, it is a home run. All right. Is this better or worse than the 1996 music?
I don't know. I think I'm failing this one. Let's go back to music. It's funny, Eric, because people ask me too. They're like, "Do you have a call?" Like, "Oh, you gotta." Well, even when I was going to do the Rockies games in Philly, they're like, "You need to come up with some call," and I'm like, I just, if something's, if I get something, I like maybe, but like at this, I try to describe what's happening. So when the ball leaves, I try to paint that picture for the people listening on radio. You know what I mean?
What,
so
location, direction,
well, the
and
location,
speed, or?
Yeah. So basically, what the outfielder's doing. So like, if the ball is a mammoth shot that's going to end up in Trumbull Straight, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he just
I might,
looks.
I might say the guy didn't even move, right?
Yep.
But when he goes back, and obviously in right field at Dunkin Park, you don't have a shot to you maybe play it off the screen, but you don't have a shot to make the catch, if it's close to a home run. But you do it left field. So there's that drama about, and the ball is hit, and where's it going? Is it going down the line? Is it going out towards left center? Who's in center? Does the guy have good speed? So if we've got like Jordan Beck, one of the top outfielders, if we have him out there breaking back, heading back towards the 8-foot fence, but we know it's a low line drive, so maybe he's going to make a bid, and he jumps in the air, and then, instead of just like, now in television it's a little bit different because they can see it, so you can kind of lay off a little bit. But on radio, I think it's important when that ball's hit the left field and it's a low line drive. I mean, it's about an 8-foot fence out there.
Now, silly question, but are you watching it on a screen or are you looking out?
So I like to look out, but we'll go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, we go back and forth with it, between the monitor and but most of the time we're watching it live.
Are these ever opened?
All the time. Yeah, they're never closed when the game's on.
How close has a foul tip come back?
Not too close because we've got the screen there now. There's a net.
That's right.
Yeah, it's almost like invisible. You can't even.
And it goes
see
all the way up.
It
all
does.
the way down.
Yeah.
That's new.
So I don't know that we could get one here. It's happened though. It's happened on the road. Happened recently.
The Yankees guy got hit right in the nose.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot those nets because down third base, it like ended. So, but now it goes all the way down.
It goes, yeah. It's one of those things where
Because we were here for Educators Night, and our Wolcott School. We were here for Wolcott School, and they pick an educator to throw out the ball. So I'm like throwing out the first pitch. I'm ready. I'm nervous. I'm like, I'm gonna throw it everything I got, but not knowing you aim for the catcher's head, not his glove, because distance, travel, speed, inertia. It's like not
right.
I don't have that on me, but I dribble it in. So the dads from Wolcott School, when I go sit, they're like, "Boo, Feeney, you dribbled in." They're like, like
right,
this.
Right.
But then I kind of redeemed myself because there happened to be a hot shot foul down the line. We're sitting on third base. I hop the front row. I reach my hand over and I snag it. Got the ball. So I kind of redeemed myself that night.
That works.
And I looked. I said,
I used to work, so when I was in Pawtucket, for a couple of years in September, they would lose a lot of groundskeep. The kids would go back to college or whatever. So I always said we would get the September call-up, so we would go up. So we'd work. It was awesome. Like, we would work the last maybe 2 weeks of the season if they had home games, and it was great. We would go up. We'd punch in. All we had to do was we'd watch I talk about a dream job. Watch batting practice. When they were done hitting, get all the equipment, like break down the cages, and then bring them out to center field and put them away, and then go upstairs and eat for free. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So, and then we would sit by where Pesky's pole is out right field. So a bunch of us would take a turn. It's called working the line, where you go out there. Now they have, I think, they've definitely improved since we were there. They have some, I don't know if they're college players, or a couple of teams have females, others have the boys that go out there and work the line for the foul balls. So there's one guy that was sitting right beside me. So he said, "Hey, can I get the ball for my kid? If maybe it even wasn't for his kid, it might have been for him. But if you get one," and I said, "Yeah," because we would always give them to the fans. So the ball is hit, and I think it was Mike Greenwell at the time. He hit a rocket. It probably wasn't even a rocket. I tell people it was a rocket, but I should have had it. And it hits the carom, and it hits the corner and comes out, and it goes right between my legs. and and now it shot out about 10 feet behind me to where the right fielder was. It was closer to him than me, so he's kind of like, oh man, really? So he had to go over and get it. So he gets it and he flips it, of course, to someone else in the stands. And that guy was so furious. He looks at me. I'm never gonna get these seats again, ever. That was my one shot. You blew it. Oh man. So that was the last time. I said, all right, yeah, get me up in the booth. This line stuff isn't for me.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible and funny. I did that too. This is brutal. My buddy Jimmy. We go to Aaron Judge's last home game to hit 62. He doesn't do it, but we had good seats, and there's this little kid. He's like 2. I'm like, kid, if I catch a ball, I'm gonna give it to you. Not thinking anything of it. Well, Josh Donaldson, third base, running in, tosses it, and me and Jimmy kind of has it, my buddy, and I fight it from my best friend to almost like fall, almost to fall on the ground. And then I'm like, now I have it, and now I told the kid earlier I'm gonna give it to him. So I'm like, I can't go back on my word. And my buddy's like, dude, you ripped it out of my hand. And I gave it to the kid.
So your friend was upset, but yeah.
I got to keep my word to the kid.
But the whole section probably cheered you.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They loved that.
They were like, definitely.
Because I'll see it too. I'll be at, not so much here, but sometimes we'll be on the road and a ball going to the stands, and like you see this adult like jump in front of the kid.
The worst.
Like, really? Come on.
Like there's not many lower on the scale humans than someone that jumps in front of a kid for a ball. Or sometimes they even fight him out of their hand. Even with the toss, the player will look and like, I'm tossing it to him.
Yeah.
And some guy goes,
yeah, not you. I saw a video. Jeter did that one time. Jeter was trying to get the ball to the kid that had a Jeter shirt on, and there was like someone in the front row. And he's like, no, the kid, not you. Yeah. You want a ball, you can go buy one, right?
Let the kid have the experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's about.
Man. All right, so we mentioned Tim. What makes Tim a good friend? Tim Rensel.
Tim Restall?
Restall.
He's just the absolute best. Yeah, he just, he's one of those leaders that nothing is beneath him. He's got an extensive background, in food service, so that, the folks that do our food here, they have to be on their game, and they are. Professional sports catering, they do a tremendous job. But he's that leader. He's you see Tim going around making sure that the ballpark is clean. The piece of trash that he's not calling someone to pick it up. He picks it up himself. And I think that's what you want as a leader, because I think everyone else kind of follows suit. We're out there pulling tarp. If the president is out there before a game, getting money pulling tarp, you better be out there doing it. So. But he's more than that too. I've known Tim forever, and he's a really good friend. He's the absolute best.
Oh, he's great. He was. We do a Miracle League Halloween at the Miracle League field. It's an adaptive field for everyone, all special abilities. And he was there handing out hats, and I was like, man, that's the president.
Yeah,
I was telling
amazing.
I said, Marty, that's the. So that's like shows. Don't ask someone to do something that you wouldn't do.
And you're exactly
and lead by
right.
example.
Yeah, and I can tell you, it's not that way everywhere. I've been around this game for a long time, and I have the opportunity to go on the road and see some of how these other teams operate. There are some that are like that, but not everybody. he really is a special person. And he's someone too that you can get to. There's a lot of team presidents where they're, I don't want to say sitting up in their high horse doing their thing, but Tim is at the game. Like if you want to have a conversation with him, you can go and approach him. He's very approachable. He's at the games. He wants to make sure everyone is having a good time. And the thing that amazes me the most is that his attention to detail is real. He gets down in the weeds with everybody. Some people are like, all right, you take care of this, but he will make sure that stuff gets taken care of. And I just think, again, I think with him at the top, I think everyone kind of feeds off that because they see what he's doing, and he's out there grinding like everybody else.
It's almost like a principal to the teachers.
Exactly.
It sets the precedent for the whole school.
It does. And you see that. If you see that as an employee, I think you have that sense of pride that you want to make sure that you're doing the best for the business.
Yeah. And Mike.
And same with Mike. Yeah. Mike does a tremendous job as well. And I remember when Mike first came to our franchise, and just to kind of watch his growth. And I knew obviously he was special coming in with his background, and he's someone too that can just make a situation really, really good. If something because when you're playing 68 games, someone might have something that wasn't great, or there might have been a line for a little too long, and in this day and age, it doesn't take someone long to get heated or whatever have you. I think a lot of the times people dealing with other stuff, and sometimes, but we're a public entity, and people come here, and so you got to kind of take your shots with that. And Mike does a really, really good job, just kind of putting his arm around someone and say, okay, what can we do to help? And that's, and that really starts with Tim and Mike, where like we try to say yes as much as we can. Like, we don't like the word no. Like, I can't, Eric, I can't have you play second base tonight. Well, you know what I can do? I can introduce you to our second baseman before the game.
Nice.
And you have that opportunity to really make something special for somebody. So we try to say yes as much as we can.
So after the podcast, can you turn on the lights so I could run the bases?
Can you run them in the dark?
Stephanie,
I'll direct you.
We went like the Field of Dreams effect. I'm
There
going to
you
stand
go.
out in the dark. You hit that special button. It'll turn
and here
on.
it comes.
She's going to return.
Yes.
I was going to do the Jake Taylor, like point, then lay down the bunt.
Then lay down the bunt. Run.
Jake Taylor. Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was thinking another, just the whole get to the base, and just it's 3-2 count. Bases loaded. Bottom of the ninth. Feeney's at the bat. This hit can, whatever, but just have that feeling and run the bases. And Stephanie was going to record it, but I guess I understand. But they are beautifully lit with, you guys can't see it, but maybe we'll do a little B-roll of these blue and green outline of the bases. Beautiful
Matt
stuff.
did a really nice job with that. He takes great pride in the field, and he took over for Kyle Calhoun, who moved to our stadium operations role, and Matt did a really good job getting out there. We have a lot of holiday parties and gatherings, in the November, December, so we thought it was really cool. Hey, let's put out the green and the blue yard.
I think it's a great look, and you guys always do cool little pictures with your Titantron, not a Titantron, but your not a billboard either, your big screen. What is that called?
Oh, the video board. Yeah,
video board.
Mm-hmm.
Titantron was on wrestling, but video board. You will post something like a happy holiday or someone's birthday.
Yeah,
you do great things. So
appreciate that.
Good stuff. And great story here. So many stories though. This is one of my daughters saw this happen.
Okay.
They were like, Dad, we are completely proud of you and embarrassed.
Oh no.
So and it's just it goes to show what people will do for a free shirt.
Oh, I know. We talked about baseball. They do. I've seen them knock kids out of the way for a damn T-shirt too.
Yeah. So we're in the food area. We
Okay.
got good seats that day, and someone shot it shot over us, and like landed on the ground over here. So and it was free, but there was the bar.
Oh boy.
So I grabbed the bar, jumped over the bar like a ninja, at least in my mind.
That's right.
And I float down to the ground and land on the shirt. And some guy just happened to try to get it, but I was there first.
You got
And
it.
I got the shirt.
He didn't pry it out of your hand.
No, there was no tug. They were like, Dad. My wife was like,
Now, was that on the big screen?
I
too?
wish.
We'll have to work on that.
I may have called or text and like, hey, do you happen? No, for that ground ball, the story I told earlier,
Yeah.
when I snatched the foul ball, I go, is there a way to get, I knew what inning it was. Is there a way to see me reach over and grab it? But
Was it last summer?
I don't know. We could try.
If it,
In the archives somewhere?
yeah, if it was a Yard Goats game last season, I might be able to find that for you. So no
Ooh.
promises, but I will look.
Yeah.
That'll be my project.
Then my wife
for
was
the
like,
rest
you
of
could have
this
broke your neck. You could have broke your foot.
week. But I got the T-shirt.
I landed straight on my knees from like a good, maybe 3 feet, 4 feet drop. But again, look at this T-shirt. It
That's
says,
impressive.
"What has 2 thumbs and caught a T-shirt at
That's
the
right.
Yard Goats game?"
This guy
This
did.
guy.
He sure did.
But
Love
very
it.
cool. Or maybe one day we could get Friends of Feeney shirts and
That
shoot
would be
them out of a
awesome.
cannon.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Put that on the list. So if I can't
Yeah.
run the bases tonight, we want to shoot Feeney T-shirts out of the.
All right.
And I threw out the first pitch. Can I be Enrico Palazzo?
Oh,
You know that. You know.
that's
you know
above
that
my
reference?
pay grade. That actually, you'd have to call Major League Baseball for that one. Yeah, but you never know.
That's a reference to Files of Police Squad, Naked Gun.
Naked Gun.
Lieutenant Drebin.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest movies.
Oh, it was
Baseball
funny, wasn't it?
Scenes.
Yeah, it was a great scene.
He does all the strikeouts. He does the dance. And then some guy goes...
Yeah, he tied up the real umpire in the umpire's room and
But then he accidentally stumbled out and had to sing the national anthem as Enrico Pilate. Oh, classic.
it was a great show, wasn't it?
Baseball. Love it.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite baseball movie?
For Love of the Game is definitely up there. I thought that was tremendous.
Is that based on a true story? Is that the
No.
pitcher?
No, it's funny
Kevin
because
Costner, or
it
no?
was Kevin Costner. It was the Yankees had a perfect game thrown against him. He was an aging Detroit Tiger, and Yankee fans always say that only in the movies does someone throw a perfect game against the Yankees. And it's
That happened like
that's
4
actually
times
pretty-
this
Yeah,
season.
right. I know they had a tough year, but that's a good one. The major leagues I thought were funny. Bull Durham, obviously, with the minor league stuff, that was a classic one.
Oh, you could relate a little bit to the minor league stuff.
Right, right. And then was the one that was the true story? Oh, The Rookie. That was based on the true story. That's probably the
Tampa
one you're
Bay
thinking
guy?
about. Yeah, the Tampa Bay guy. Yeah,
That was really good.
Came up. That was a good movie. Yeah,
I got some feels in that one.
Mhm.
He calls his dad or his mom.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
finally.
He finally made it after.
Did
all
you have
those-
that moment?
Yeah, I did.
A little bit?
yeah,
Did you
yeah.
call your
I
parents?
called. Yeah, I did. And
Did you have the feels?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
You really did?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was when they asked me actually they asked me before our first game. So we actually our owner took us to a team dinner. So I was at dinner and I got the text and they wanted to know if I was available and I'm like, yeah, I'm available. I sure am.
Yeah.
But then it was like it was that was like April 4th or 5th. We were about to open up and the game wasn't until late April. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like the longest 3 weeks of my life. Like, I mean. But we had our own Yard Goats game, so it did kind of move it through quickly. But so I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I called my family and everything, so they knew. But we didn't publicly announce anything till like it got really, really close.
Can we get an exclusive on how the convo went when you called your parents or your kids or your wife?
Yeah, I mean, I just I told them I was like, hey, I this sounds like it's gonna happen. So just fingers crossed, and hopefully Jack, one of the voices of the Rockies. It was his grandson's confirmation, so it was a family thing. So I'm just like, I didn't want to get all my, I was excited, but I wanted to make sure, it was going to happen because they're like, well, we think, and we'd like you to come, if you're available. And I said, oh, I'm definitely available. So
Yeah,
so,
that's an amazing story.
They were thrilled. Yeah.
I didn't know you then, but I was like, this is so cool. This is an amazing. I was like, that was topic number 1 to talk about. So I thought,
Oh, that's nice.
I'm silly to say, but I'm proud of you and, hard work and
I appreciate
your
it. It's
time
yeah,
and
like I
effort.
said. I mean, it's and a little luck too, right? I mean, no, I appreciate it. They said, hey, you're here for a reason. We listened to you. We like you. Which was great. But like I said, there's a lot of great minor league broadcasters. So for that to actually happen was really cool. So it was definitely a fun moment. And then I was on MLB Network like later that day talking about it. So it was just
and it was Hartford Current, CT
Yeah,
Insider,
it was pretty fun. Yeah.
ESPN. Like, it was awesome.
It was cool.
really
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, it was
really
appreciate
cool.
it.
Now, if you were to give advice, I teach 3rd grade. If you were to give advice to a 3rd grader to pursue a career in this profession, what would be some of your advice?
First of all, you got to be nice to your teacher, right?
Yes,
That's number
yes,
one.
you heard it here
You
first.
heard that, right? You got to love your teacher. Seriously, teachers are great role models. I think of some of the great ones that I had. But if you love something, you're passionate about it, and it's so cool now because, like I said, with your iPhones, you can be your own broadcaster. So you can go there, and I always tell them it's like any craft where you're going to get better with time. So you need to just get out there and get reps. So I tell this to a lot of college kids and even kids that have graduated that just aren't there yet. They're trying to get their first job. I'm like, don't get discouraged. Like, you listen to my stuff back when I was in college, I mean, it was horrible, and you get better with time as you go along. So get out there and do it. If you have fun, sit in the stands at a Yankees game or just watch it on TV and turn down the sound. And everyone's kind of got their.
That's
their
really
own
cool.
thing,
Instead of
but-
doing the book, maybe bring the or camera or microphone and
For
just
sure.
call it.
Yeah, for
I've tried
sure.
that, and I feel like such an art to, you don't want to rush the call, but then you don't want to anticipate too much. Because, again, how you turn on the TV, I loved ESPN. I had Kenny Mayne on.
Oh, did you?
As a guest. It was like talking to someone that I went to bed
Yeah.
and woke up to every night. And,
Right.
you know, you were calling calls. I was like, home run, they would say Denver. They hit it to Denver. Or
Yep,
bartender
exactly.
Jack. Or bombs away, get some mustard for the grand salami.
Yeah.
All these calls.
There's so many talented,
But talking with him was like, you know, you're up there now. So Kenny Mayne, Jeff Dooley.
I don't know about that. No, but Kenny's tremendous.
But just calls and calling it, practicing, like you said. Like, I
So
would
get out there
watch
and
it.
practice. And the other thing for the third graders too is that, like, and I even tell this to the high school and the college kids, like, just because you don't throw 95 miles an hour or you can't hit a ball 400 feet, you can still have this career that's a passion for sports. I mean, I happen to be the broadcaster, but there's so many people that mention that make this work. Like we mentioned, Tim, the team president, Mike, our general manager, and then all of our concession people. We have security people. We have everything that makes this. It's not just the team in the field or just the broadcaster. So and then as the broadcast team, I mean, yeah, I'm the voice that people hear or they see on the screen, but there's so many, the cameramen behind the scene, Mike Delgado, who does our video stuff, they work so hard to put this product up there to get for people. So, like, there's just so many opportunities, and it doesn't have to be with baseball. You might like basketball, you might like football, but if you like sports or you have a passion for it, stay with it. It doesn't matter that you can't play. Most of us can't.
I was dealing with someone with tickets, and the ticket guy sent me an email. I'm moving to Seattle to sell tickets with
Yes.
Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
So ticket guys get called up.
Yeah.
Everyone starts off, like maybe making pizzas, and then they work their way up. And now this guy, I forgot his name, but he was here.
Tom Baxter.
Tom Baxter.
Yeah.
Baxter.
Tom
That's
is
who it
with
was.
Seattle now. Yeah, he's
It
out
was
with
so
the
cool.
Mariners.
I'm thinking, wait, the ticket guys get called up too?
Yeah, I know Seattle was impressed with some of the stuff that he did with some of the nonprofits here, and they're like, and it's amazing that you would think like major league teams they would, but
Yeah.
a lot of the
That's who-
creative stuff really does come
So,
in
yeah.
the minor leagues. Like you look at how many teams now have kids run the bases on Sunday. That started in minor league baseball, and
No
now
way.
there are a handful of major league teams. Now, still not New York and Boston, but like Tampa Bay and some of the other teams. On Sundays, you get to go and run the bases. I mean, so all this started with
Bring your dog to the park.
bark in the park day.
I see
Yeah,
major leagues do that.
for sure.
And they play the Ring doorbell, and the place goes crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you mentioned teacher. Do you have a favorite teacher or a teacher that inspired you? Maybe one for this career, maybe.
Yeah, I without a doubt, when I got to college, my professor, Bill Yates, who was just, someone I got really close to. And I really did enjoy my teachers all the way through, like, elementary school and into high school. But I think when I got to college, and he was a former, like, news anchor guy, and just kind of said, okay, this is what you need to know. Like, we got to do the book stuff, Jeff, but this is kind of, you need to know, like, the peek behind the scenes. And he really gave my start. I got really lucky. So our basketball team, I went to St. Joe's College, a Division III school, and the basketball team was really good. So the coach signed a commercial radio deal when I was a sophomore. So what he did was he hired like a professional guy in his mid-30s doing the play-by-play, and he called my advisor to find out who should do the color commentaries, and he came to me and said, Jeff, I want you to take that job. So he was just really instrumental, as was the coach, in getting me started. And so I did the broadcast. So college radio was great, and it's a great learning tool, but because you can go on and do your thing. But I learned, like, as a sophomore, like, commercial radio, when people are paying for a 30-second spot, it's got to be 30 seconds. It can't be 28 seconds. It can't be 35 seconds.
Wow.
So I learned, like, right away. And again, I think I even fell in love with it more. I was, like, learning a lot. We got to travel with the team. So I got a really good break with that. So, yeah, Bill Yates was my advisor, and he's since retired. But he's someone that that had just a huge influence on my career for sure.
So cool. Now, I usually ask favorite restaurant, but I'm going to ask, other than Dunkin' Donuts, a favorite ballpark. Instead of favorite-
Ballpark in the Eastern League, or yeah,
Anywhere in the world. Ballpark.
ballpark.
Major league, minor
Okay.
league.
I do. Well, for the Eastern League, I like, this obviously is top of the line, and
Because this is one best ballpark, 4 years in a row?
Yeah, it's won a bunch of
Congratulations,
times.
Dunkin Donuts Park.
No, we're very fortunate here. It's fun doing broadcast in Akron too. Akron's fun, Portland's fun. Portland's just a great city though. It's funny. I get together with all my college buddies who still live up in Maine when we play the Sea Dogs up there. So that's always a good time. New Hampshire's a fun place to do a game.
Now, do the buddies get free tickets?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they're in the Yard Goat section.
Yep.
On the road with the visitors. And Altoona's a fun place as well too in terms of a ballpark. They got a really nice ballpark set up too. And Reading does a really good job. They get 8,000-9,000 fans in the game. So the league really is strong that way. Major League Baseball. Fenway, I've always, had something from just going up there, and the history and everything has always just been unbelievable for me at the Major League level. I still haven't gone to Coors in Denver yet, so I got to get that on the checklist, for sure, because I've heard just tremendous things about that. Target Field's another great one in Minnesota. It's a beautiful facility. So, I think that's probably my favorite.
I know I wanted to do the bucket list to hit them all. How many ballparks have you hit?
Oh, not a whole lot in terms of Major League. Not too many. Philadelphia too, was unbelievable. Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, I love that
just,
park.
Yeah, just a great.
My
place.
wife's cousin. There's 3 boys, so anytime I go to visit, I check the schedule. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go then, and we go to the games.
Yeah.
Went on Father's Day. I got a Hawaiian shirt.
Right.
Went on Cowboy Hat Day. Got a cowboy.
That's
I always
awesome.
What's the promotion? When are we gonna go? Oh, we're going this day.
Let's go. Yeah.
I caught a ball down there.
Did you really? Yeah. It's just a great
Got
spot
on
for
TV.
fans in Philly, huh?
Yep.
That's really cool. They told me too, it's a great ballpark. The booth there is amazing, and they said it's because some of them, even at the Major League level, you're not in a great angle, or you might be high, or you might be low. I think a lot of them are probably pretty good, but they said Philly is definitely probably top 3 in the majors. So it's a great spot to watch a game.
That was the first place I went when they opened it up. So when you're at the concession stand and you look back and you could see the field.
Yeah.
I'm used to Yankee Stadium with
Right.
cement tunnels, and you come
You're
out
trying
and,
to go,
and you
yeah,
see
exactly,
it.
yeah.
But now,
Yeah.
Philly's
It's a great spot.
Amazing place. All right. So quickly, let me just. When's the last time you wrote someone a handwritten note, or a thank you card, or a card, or how you feel?
That is a good question. Yeah.
So I'm going to encourage all my listeners and subscribers. Please write that note. It makes someone feel so good. Marcia, we call her Irish Grandma. She sent a donation.
Oh, that's great.
My friend Kirsten wrote a thank you note for contributing to her bridal shower. It was extremely generous and appreciated it. Appreciated by Grayson and I. We're beyond grateful. So it just means a lot. And then I wrote someone a letter of recommendation. Feeney, I really appreciate you writing a letter of rec and took the time to do so. I'm really grateful, and I cannot wait for the next FOF event. Your favorite volunteer.
I love it.
Megan.
Yeah.
So thank you.
They do mean a lot, though, because it's so easy right now to just respond to an email.
Yeah,
where
and you get sometimes you get them like this. My friend Alana. And it's funny, her last name's Jackson. So I'm like, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real.
Remember that one?
You know that one?
I do know
All
that
right.
one, yeah.
Yep. So she's like, I like when you say, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, every day. So
that's great.
you can't beat it. And then this was an email, and this one's gonna I'm gonna try to just read this. Your biggest fan, it's called. I want to let you know that Alan Pops Dismaris, Gus's and Emmeline's grandfather, passed away unexpectedly on Saturday. As you know, he's a huge fan of your podcast. He also really enjoyed your conversations when he picked up the kids, and he was a supporter of Friends of Feeney and all the work you do in the community. I'm sorry you lost one of your subscribers. A memorial service is on Saturday at Malloy Funeral, 11 to 6, Laura and Matt. So, Pops.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's...
He was kind of makes me think I'm just plugging along with this. Started off with 20 subscribers. We're moving on up, and we're coming up to the 100th podcast. I'm passionate. I like talking with people.
Yeah, you can tell.
And So you're an inspiration. I'm just going to keep going and doing the best that I can. Maybe do a little more prep. But it was an honor to speak with you. You're doing great things. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me. It meant a lot. I know we try to connect during the season, and it's always nice to kind of keep the Yard Goat name out there during the off season, as I like to say. So no, I appreciate you thinking of us, and whatever we can do, we're just an email or phone call away. So just please let us know, and anyone out there that's watching the podcast or listening, please let us know if we can help you as well.
Thank you so much. And then we'll finish. I got to ask a couple crazy questions.
Sure.
Crazy questions sponsored by Donut Crazy. Do you have a favorite donut?
Ooh, chocolate frosted.
Chocolate frosted. Would you rather announce baseball or football? Silly question.
Baseball.
How long have you been doing this job?
This has been my 26th season.
Do you know who is under Choo Choo and Chomper?
Top secret, I can't tell.
Top secret.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite baseball player?
Ooh. I think it's fun to watch Ohtani. Just what he does with his glove and his bat is just, and his arm pitching and being a two-way guy in the major league, like the modern day Babe Ruth. It's pretty amazing. Mike Trout too is pretty amazing. But for guys that I've covered, I mean, I like Ryan McMahon is always one of my favorites. I was really excited when he got rewarded with a really nice contract a few years ago. He was the first Yard Goat to hit a home run here at Dunkin Park, and
cool.
We've kept in touch and everything. So he's one of my favorite for sure.
Very cool. Do you know Albert Einstein?
I do not. I've heard about him though.
What's your favorite element on the periodic table?
Oh boy, pass.
Do you like Legos?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we had a Lego night here with the Yard Goats,
no way.
where they came in a couple of times, and actually every fan that could come in could build a Lego. And Lego told me, they're like, yeah, if adults want to do this, we're not telling them no, because like some adults think this is
Legos are
pretty
for
cool.
all ages.
They are, absolutely. So we'll hope to do that
all
again.
Ages.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
How old are you?
50. Just turned 50.
How old is Chomper and Choo Choo?
So they were born in, let's see, 2000, what was our first year? I can't remember. It was, if we announced them in 15 or 16. So they're
about 8.
Yeah, they're about 8 years old, I would say.
Are you famous?
No.
What's your favorite Yard Goat?
Favorite Yard Goat? Oh. How about Yard Goat uniform? Because I don't want to pick a player. That's not right. I love all those guys. I really do. It's tough to have a favorite. But I love the home uniforms where they wear the white with the kind of like the old Whalers look with the Kelly green.
Great uniforms. Whoever designs. Do you have input on the
No,
uniforms?
No. Tim Restall did a lot.
Tim
of that.
does all the uniforms?
Tim was really
nice.
good with that. Yeah.
I have some ideas, Tim. I'm going to email you.
Yeah,
a couple
absolutely.
Ideas. Do you have kids?
Yes, 2 boys.
Nice. Oh, speaking of which, 2 boys. Hey,
Oh, look at that.
maybe gift or present or.
Oh, yeah.
But we just got hats. Be a good friend. These are $20 at the Square app.
Look at that.
Weather's getting cold. This one, yep. So cool.
That's awesome. I love those questions. They're from the class.
Yeah. Oh, do you like speaking in front of people?
I do.
Would you rather be in the sun or the shade?
The sun.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Pasta or meatballs?
Where are the meatballs from? So maybe pasta. We'll say I like them both.
Would you rather go in the snow or stay inside?
Snow for a short time, maybe.
And P.S. I've been to a game and it was so much fun.
Oh, that's great.
Are you nice?
I like to think so.
Are you cool?
For sure.
Are you
My
friendly?
kids may disagree.
Are you friendly?
Yes.
Is it hot in the Choo Choo costume?
I haven't put it on.
So is it cold in the costume? A lot of Have you ever had a fight with Chomper?
Nope. I'm messing with it. With his teeth? No way.
Do you live in Hartford?
West Hartford.
Did you enjoy being a voice actor?
Oh.
I don't think they got.
Yeah.
And do you want to retire?
Not yet.
Do you get paid a lot?
No.
Did school help you?
Yes.
Would you rather be a teacher or a nurse?
Teacher.
What's your favorite season?
Summer.
Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas.
And where did you go to school? Maine. Yeah, that St. Joe's, Maine kind of threw me off. I'm like, oh, St. Joe's. Oh, and
Yeah, in Maine, I know. Yeah, a little different.
Again, amazing talking with you. We did crazy questions. We talked about your passion, your inspiration. You got called up. You're just an amazing human. You're a good friend, and I thank you for taking the time. This is Jeff Dooley, Hartford Yard Goats, the voice of the Yard Goats. This is episode 96.
96.
4 more to 100. Feeney caught a shirt. We're shooting T-shirts. I'm going to go run the bases. It's going to be great. Thank you, Steph and Dave from Direct Line Media. Thank you, Luna Pizza, Golf Law Group, Keating Agency, The Fix, Donut Crazy, Luna Pizza, Parkville Management. And that's all of them. And we're going to say, be a good friend on 3. 1, 2, 3. Be a good friend.